to the point. I'm not even going to waste any time getting to this. Please hit the like as you come on in. And shout out to the whole entire Lions Den basketball and boxing community. Now, they were coming out with a report right now um, that pretty much had stated to why Steph Curry lost out on the award um, in comparison to LeBron in the whole MVP voting when it came to the Olympics or whatnot, and they they came with a couple of reasons, but their main particular reason is because they said that it was because of Curry's struggles in the beginning of when they had played. Okay. Um, do they not watch the game? Do they not pay attention? I mean, because this is supposedly supposed to be the analytical and statistics era, right? What's up with it, Alex? So, by that logic, okay, by that logic that they're saying that Curry has struggled. What's up with it, Cottage? I see you in here, man. By that logic, if you go back and you look at the stats, okay, I want everybody to pay attention to plus. Okay? Never mind the points. We know that Steph Curry, he averaged 14.8 points, and we know that he came back with a solid ending, particularly with the two games. The only one that you could really say that he truly struggled, the game that he really truly struggled, was the game against South Sudan, in which he shot one of nine and shot a horrible percentage, and that was the only game that he was in the negative. LeBron, he was in a negative one game too as well. But if you go look at the plus minuses, Curry was always in the pluses, even when he didn't even score that much. The first game he had a 50%. He had a 50% shooting percentage. His first game, he shot 50%. He shot 4 of 8 uh, from field goal range. Right then, you said, "Hey, I clearly think Curry belongs in the Hall of Fame." Yeah, of course he does. I mean, he's a bona fide. I mean, he's a unanimous MVP, all of that stuff. But the focus is what he did in the Olympics and what the powers to be say that he did not do in the Olympics. Now, I also want to focus on this too. All right, you know how many turnovers in total Steph Curry had? He only had 10 turnovers. 10. That's it. Right? Guess how many turnovers LeBron James had? Guess how many turnovers LeBron had? What's up with it, T Price? Make sure y'all go sub to Old Head Podcast. Salute to you, T Price. Hadn't seen you in a minute, man. Hope everything good with you. LeBron had 24 turnovers. Okay, he had 24 turnovers throughout the entire Olympics, including the first couple of games. I think he had like six. He had 6 turnovers the first 2 games. Steph Curry was only getting like one, maybe two at the most. 24 turnovers. So you're trying to tell me that a guy that has 24 turnovers is able to get the MVP over a guy who not only was efficient especially when it mattered, when he had 24 points, when he had 36 points. He was shooting well over 50%, with the exception of, like I said, South Sudan. And then there was one occasion they're basing him. I think one game when I think he played. I want to say against Serbia, if I'm not mistaken. He shot 2 of 6, but that's still 33.3%. Outside of that, what can you really say about Steph Curry? He only had one game in which he was in the negative. That was it. Other than that, if you go look at the plus and minuses, he was always in the pluses, including the last couple of games when he was a plus 20, and including the games where they were saying, "Oh yeah, he was struggling. He didn't score that much. He only had like 11 points." Guess what his plus minus was? He was still a plus 18. What's up with it, Moses? I see you in the building. I think it. What's up with it, Reek Havoc? I see you in the building. I think it was. It was the fact that this was LeBron's last Olympics, and he was playing phenomenal even at 40 years old. His defense was great as well. Well, yeah, his defense was great, but at the same time, that doesn't excuse the fact in terms of his turnovers. And then on top of that, there were a lot of times when LeBron made some horrible decisions. We can't base it all on scoring and stuff like that, because there was times when he was being inefficient, and there were times when he actually had did more damage to the team than good, and then he came out there and he started stat padding. Now I will give you this, okay, yeah. In the beginning, yeah, LeBron, he had some games there, but then there were times when he was taking plays off. There were times when LeBron really wasn't doing his job like he was supposed to, and then he tried to come out there and stat pad as opposed to Steph Curry actually hitting key shots and being a driving force as to coming back and bringing the game back at times. And then LeBron wanted to come out there and capitalize at times. To me, if you look at those last two games, without Curry's buckets, without his scoring, without him being as efficient as he was, USA would have never been in the game. Curry only struggled. You could only say that he struggled one game, and that was the game against South Sudan, in which he shot 1 of 9. Everybody has those games. Outside of that, he didn't have no 24 turnovers. He only had 10. So what are we talking about here? Listen, if we're going to base it, oh, yeah, you're so used to seeing Steph Curry shoot all of these great shots and stuff like that. It's like when he doesn't do it, but then he becomes a playmaker and he does other things for the betterment of the team. Then you're like, oh, well, he's not shooting any 3-pointers. Oh, he's struggling. No, that's not what it is, because Steph Curry can actually do more. Is he a lockdown defender? No, he did struggle defensive-wise against South Sudan, okay? But that was because, you got to think about it, how long and how lengthy South Sudan was. Of course he's going to struggle. You're talking about a guy that's only 6'2". Their wings are, like 6'5", 6'7". You had guys out there that's 6'9", 6'10". You said, and I remember when Curry had 36 points in one night. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. So, like I said, they want to base it on. They said it was the media, and they said it was the FIBA voting committee or what have you. But we all know what it is, man. They wanted to go ahead. They wanted it to be commemorative for LeBron's going out party and everything. We all know that it was politics that played a big deal in this. Politics played a big deal in this whole entire Olympics. I should call it the Olympics. Okay, but I have to spin the block again, and I have to talk about this once again. Steph Curry, he only struggled one game. Outside of that, all of his other games, he was. Listen, I look at plus minuses, man, and if if you're doing all that scoring and stuff like that, but let's say you have a negative this or a negative that, then that was what one of my problems was with Luka and sometimes with Kyrie at times. You know, they would have all these great stats, putting up buckets and stuff like that. But then if you go to the plus minuses, guess what? He's in the negative. If you look at the turnovers, guess what? He got like 6, 7, 8 turnovers. That's not a good game. It's not. It's not. What's up with it, Ted? I see you in the building. So, like I said, if you're just coming in, what I'm saying is that if you go back and you look at Steph Curry and you look at the stats, you will clearly see that Steph Curry was in the positive for the majority, with the exception of one game, and that was against South Sudan, of course, in which he struggled. He shot 1 of 9. Other than that, Steph Curry, I think the last 2 games he shot 60%. There was another game where he shot like 50%. And then, of course, there was the game against that first game. I think it was I want to say, I think that was against Serbia, if I'm not mistaken. He shot 50%. He shot 4 of 8. If I'm not mistaken, y'all may have to go back and correct me on that. But I don't have the stats right in front of me. But what I'm saying is my sole point is that if you go back, and my biggest thing was looking at the turnovers. LeBron James had 24 turnovers. He had like 6 turnovers one game, 5 turnovers another game, another 6 or whatever. He was playing awful. I remember there was one game where him and Joel Embiid, they could not get on the same page. They were turnover machines, throwing the ball away, stuff like that. That wasn't happening with Curry. People want to say that Curry struggled in plenty of games, but like you said, he only struggled in one game. But that's what the narrative is because he's not shooting the amount of 3-pointers that you want him to. All of a sudden, that he's struggling, and that goes back to my point about Steph Curry, is that he could do more than just shoot 3-pointers. Curry can do a lot more than that. Curry can dish the ball. Curry can be a playmaker. Curry can make a hockey assist. Curry can make that extra pass or whatnot. Curry could get in. He could shoot a mid-range or whatnot. But the fact that you're sitting up in here and you're basing on him doing his bread and butter, and maybe he shot maybe 2 or 6, which some people would actually love to shoot 30%, because that's 33% right there. But for Curry, I guess you could say that's an off night, but the fact that he still hit him, and he probably hit him when he mattered. Curry wasn't getting the ball passed to him. He was playing off the ball. Yeah, exactly. Which Curry can do. Curry can play off the ball, and that's what's so versatile about him. See, with a player like LeBron, he has to have the ball in his hand in order to create, or else it's gonna throw his game off. He can never play off the ball. He'll try to, but it doesn't really work for him. That's the difference between him and Steph Curry. Not trying to make this about them two, but you have to in this instance because we're talking about the MVP. That's one of my reasons about Paul George, is that yes, he'll play off the ball and everything. I'm just using him as an example. Paul George will play off the ball, but he doesn't play as good off the ball. You know why? Because he needs the ball in his hand. He's one of those players that needs the ball in his hand. Steph Curry can play either way. If you give him the ball, let him create, do whatever he can. Hey, look, he could either pull up from you from 30 or 40, real deep. He can run it in transition. Not to say that he's the fastest. He could dish it out, do a nice little no look. He could find somebody on the back door. He could move without the ball, make an extra pass. He can move without the ball, stop and pop on the mid-range. He can move without the ball, stop and pop in the middle with the runner. I mean, this guy is versatile. With LeBron, if he doesn't have the ball and doesn't create and doesn't play Bron ball 9 times out of 10, he's going to get restless. He's going to get frustrated and everything. LeBron and others were looking him off wide open. Tired running our pick. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people got to look at it more, especially the media, but the media is not going to do that. All these excuses are coming. They're talking about, oh yeah, Curry struggled and all this other nonsense and stuff like that to make him look bad. I just looked it up. Nah, he wasn't washed. Look, I just looked it up. Okay, he struggled against Puerto Rico. Okay, he shot 3 of 8, and then of course against South Sudan. Those were the 2 games where he struggled. But even against Puerto Rico, he was still in the plus. I think he was like I think it was like, I want to say he was like a plus 15 or something like that. But he shot 3 of 8 shooting wise. Okay, not his best shooting outing. Okay, and then of course against South Sudan. Other than that, game he shot 61. Then the game I'm talking about against France in the championship game, he shot 61%. Then the game before that, he shot 66%. And then the game before that, it was like 65%. He had 3 straight games in which he shot well above 60%. And then on the first game, he shot 50%. But I will stand on this. His assist to turnover ratio was phenomenal. Okay, he had only had 10 turnovers throughout the whole entire Olympics. LeBron had 24. Okay, and then on top of that, his plus or minus, LeBron's plus or minus, he was higher than LeBron in plus or minus. So to me, I think the last 3 games it gave Curry enough, especially because if we're gonna go by that, we had to look at a situation where Andre Iguodala, right? He ended up winning the Finals MVP. And why did he win the Finals MVP? Not necessarily because of his scoring, but because of people. Even though some people felt like Steph Curry should have won it, but I'm just using that as an example. Some people might have they gave it to Andre Iguodala because of his impact on defense, and he was able to do other things, a little bit scoring here and there and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? In this case, there was a balance of everything. And on top of that, Steph Curry's impact and him doing many other things. Now, statistics-wise, people are going to bring up, oh, he had all these stats. He filled up a stat sheet and stuff like that. But if you're turning the ball over, well, guess what? You're putting that other team in position to either score or make a play 9 times out of 10, and that could put that team ahead. Because you got to think about it like this. They were up 17. I'm talking about Serbia. They were up 17 against the United States. They were up 17 against the United States. And guess who was able to lead the charge? It was Steph Curry. Steph Curry. And some people might say he possibly saved LeBron in a sense. He saved all their legacies, really. Because if they would have lost those games, if they would have lost the games, particularly that game, because that was a crucial game. If they would have lost that game, all you would have heard, if they would have lost against South Sudan, all you would have heard is, oh, these guys can't get it done. This is the team, as we know, besides the 04 team that have failed miserably, and they had all these superstars. They had the quote unquote GOAT on their team. They had they would have said, oh, they had 2 potential GOATs on their team. It would have been a never-ending story. And guess who probably would have took most of the backlash? It probably would have been Curry, most likely. It probably would have been Steph Curry that took the backlash, and it would have gave all, tried to do everything that they could to stray away from giving any criticism to LeBron James. So I just wanted to point that out. Y'all could look it up. Do your due diligence into doing your research to the statistics to see what I'm saying. And like I said again, you need to focus on the plus minuses, okay? I know some people might think it may be misleading. Not in all cases. Not in this cases. It definitely wasn't misleading at all. And then also you got to look at the turnovers. Turnovers aren't misleading neither, because especially if you go look at the eye test and saw what LeBron was doing, you saw that he was committing some crucial turnovers too as well. You know what I'm saying? So y'all let me know what you think, man. Leave your comments. Make sure you like the video, share it, subscribe, hit them notifications too. Shouts out to the whole entire Lions Den. Straight to the point. I'll get at you later.